I'm from a family of 9, the third. And during those years of growing up, I think it becomes more real to me when I was 6 and upwards. And I used to see my dad hitting my mom. As I grew older, in the teenage years of my life, it becomes more intense. I can remember one evening after my dad finished with my mom, she ends up in A&E. It was very, traumatic for me, and it did affect me emotionally over the years.
So from a very young age, as a 6-year-old, that was something you were seeing regularly?
Yes.
What sort of an upbringing did you have? How would you describe the sort of family you grew up in?
They were harsh, unloving, unkind. I didn't get much love, so I had really a lonely life as a child growing up.
You left home at quite a young age, didn't you?
Yes, age 17.
And why was that?
This was a rule that my dad had set, that when all of us as children reach the age of 17, we'll have to go. For me, that was a shock. It was very devastating for me because I wasn't prepared for the world in terms of education. I had a formal education. I went to primary school. I finished secondary school, but I was deprived of the last bit of my education, where I should have taken my CXC. That exam would enable me to be able to stand, of a firm footed in society when I did leave home. But unfortunately, my dad, he didn't pay for that exam, and it caused me to struggle. And leaving home at a tender age, I'd faced a lot of abuse when I went out into the world.
And yet you have come through the experiences. That you sit here today in the studio, a very well turned out woman, and smiling, and clearly someone that is really enjoying life. What changed? How did you learn to cope?
Well, I'm a very determined person, and with my God-given ability and the strength that I drove from above, had kept me throughout the years of my life. I know that deep down in my spirit, emotionally, it did affected me. It did affected me as a child growing up into adulthood, because not getting love from a tender age, and I became a mom myself, I struggled to give love. Some days, I know that my children, especially my 2 older children, they are now 21 and 24, and I know that sometimes, they lack love. But as I said, whatever happened, that's the reason why I chose to put it in the form of a book. And I hope that one day they will get the courage to read it and see what Mom had gone through.
Why did you decide to put your experiences which must have been horrific to experience, but to relive through writing them? Why did you choose to do that?
Addressing the issue of abuse, it has never been easy for me. To revisit my past, it was very horrific. I cried right throughout the manuscript. But when I look back and I said, how can I change my world? How can I change my environment? How can I help someone? First, I would have to help myself. And I choose to do this through the forum of writing and presenting my thoughts in the form of a book.